Did you know that a customer placing an order 15% larger than normal can result in a demand spike of over 40% for raw materials down the supply chain? That's the bullwhip effect in action. And there's a chance that it's quietly costing your business thousands without you even realizing it. Now, if you're running any kind of manufacturing or retail business, you've probably experienced this firsthand. 1 month you're drowning in inventory, the next month you're scrambling to keep up. Unfortunately, these feast and famine cycles are more common than you think. But here's the thing, most business owners, they think that it's just a part of doing business. It's not. The bullwhip effect is actually a well-documented supply chain phenomenon. And once you understand what's causing it, you can actually start to control it. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what the bullwhip effect is, what causes it, and walk you through a real-world example so you can see exactly how it plays out. And then we're going to cover 4 practical ways for you to reduce its impact on your inventory and cash flow. All right, so what exactly is the bullwhip effect? Think of it like a game of telephone that you played as a kid. You whisper, "I like pizza," to the first person. And by the time it reaches the last person, it becomes, "Mike's got amnesia." In supply chain, it works the same way. A small change in customer demand, it gets passed along the supply chain from retailer to distributor to manufacturer to supplier, with each level adding its own safety barrier of stock. What starts as a 10% increase in demand becomes a 40% spike in raw material orders. Just like the crack of a bullwhip, where a slight wrist movement creates amplified motion at the tip. Minor changes in end customer demand can cause massive disruptions for manufacturers and suppliers, hence the name bullwhip effect. Now let me give you an example that perfectly shows just how crazy this can get. Do you remember the great toilet paper shortage of 2020? Here's what actually happened. When lockdown started, people shifted from using commercial restrooms to home bathrooms. The actual increase in toilet paper consumption? About 40%. Not huge, right? But here's where it gets wild. Retailers seeing empty shelves and panicked customers, they increased their orders by 50 to 100%. Distributors saw these massive orders coming in from multiple retailers, and they assumed that there had been a permanent shift in demand. So in response, they ramped up their orders by 200 to 300%. Finally, manufacturers, now looking at unprecedented order volumes, told suppliers to secure even more raw materials. That's the bullwhip effect in action, and it costs companies millions in emergency production, overtime labor, and excess inventory. The bullwhip effect is probably one of the biggest silent profit killers in your business. First, you've got the obvious financial impacts. You're dealing with higher carrying costs, rush shipping fees, overtime labor, and last-minute purchasing decisions that are almost always more expensive. And then there's the operational chaos. 1 week you're paying overtime to meet inflated demand. The next week your team's sitting around idle because orders have dropped off a cliff. This kind of volatile order pattern, it makes production planning incredibly difficult. And in some cases, businesses even invest in increasing output permanently due to what looks like rising demand, only to realize later that it was just a temporary spike. Here's the good news. While you can't eliminate the bullwhip effect entirely, you can reduce its impact. It really comes down to these 5 things: better forecasting, stable pricing, better information sharing, smarter ordering, and shorter lead times. Let's start with forecasting. The more data you use, the better your decisions will be. Look at historical sales, seasonality, and trends so you're not reacting to short-term spikes. Second, try to keep your pricing as stable as possible by being intentional with your sales and promotions. Discounts can create an artificial spike in demand because customers often buy more than they actually need. Now, that doesn't mean you should avoid promotions and discounts altogether. It just means that you need to factor them in when you're reviewing your data so you don't mistake short-term sales for a normal demand. Next up is information sharing. And if your data is stuck in spreadsheets or on pen and paper, your team will always be playing catch up. Real-time visibility makes a huge difference here. So don't be afraid to switch to inventory software that keeps your data up to date and accurate. And then there's ordering. Instead of placing large, infrequent orders, try moving towards smaller, more frequent ones that reflect actual demand. And work with suppliers on flexible minimum order quantities whenever possible. And finally, lead times. The shorter your lead times, the less guesswork you need. Work with suppliers to streamline processes and consider having backup options to stay flexible. Implementing these strategies is going to be much easier for businesses using the right software. You need real-time visibility into your inventory, automated reorder points that adjust based on actual consumption patterns, and the ability to track supplier performance and lead times. This is where inFlow shines. Our manufacturing and inventory management software gives you real-time tracking across multiple locations and recommended reorder points. It centralizes real sales order data in one place, enabling purchasing decisions that are based on actual consumer demand rather than guesswork. Look, I get it. The bullwhip effect sucks, but it doesn't have to just be a part of doing business. With the right strategies and tools, you can smooth out those demand signals and protect your cash flow. If you want to see how inFlow can help you control your inventory and mitigate the impacts of the bullwhip effect, start your 14-day free trial with the link in the description. And leave us a comment. Let us know how your business deals with the bullwhip effect. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos just like this.